Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Influence Unboxing Talk. I believe this is the fifth one I'm making now. This time I'm not late, so I'm not gonna start off with it. I'm pretty much on time. And today I'm gonna be talking about the Misfits card 009. Just got announced a few couple days ago. Idris Virgo versus Aaron Chalmers. Now I'm gonna start at the bottom because I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on it. Starting with the female fight. I don't have too much to talk about it. I don't really know these influencers. If there are influencers, I don't know what they do. So it's kind of like, Moving on to Pulley and this new guy. I'm never gonna knock a new guy. You know, he could be in the next star. We didn't know Salt Poppy until he fought on Showstar and did what he did. So you never know who he is. His name is Small Spartan J. But Pulley, I wanted to see I wanted to see Pulley versus what's the guy whose arm popped out in the tag team match on the previous card. His name is APAP. Yeah, and he teamed up with Yuddy Gang. Yeah, I want to see APAP have a one-on-one fight. I believe maybe he's injured now, so he can't come back so quickly for this fight. But I want to see him again in lightweight division. I'd love to see that matchup between him and Pulley. But I guess this fight is gonna be entertaining as well. On to AJ Bunker and Lil Belzy. If I remember correctly, AJ Bunker didn't look too good in her last fight. I believe she was the female influencer that was kind of stiff when she was in the ring. She's kind of like stiff. Almost remind me of CM Punk, if anyone knows who that is, in his career after the WWE. And he's tried to fight on UFC cards. He kind of like just way less fluid than the other guys, and he just shows. And I just hope she doesn't lose bad, man. It'd just be bad to see. You don't want to see it because, of course, they're spending their hard-earned money on a training camp, on the food, on a good coach. I don't know, man. It's kind of I hate seeing fighters that just want to stay in the ring, but it's not the best thing to do for them at that moment. Don't. It's like seeing Fusi back. Like you know what he's bringing. He's not bringing no defense. You don't want to see that, you know. But moving on to the next fight, we have OJ Rose. It's kind of funny. I called him OJ Rose, but it's my little twist to it. But versus this guy named Callan Izzard, I believe that's how you say it. I think he's been on a TV show before or a reality show. So I guess that should be a good fight. Both of them got some fighting experience, so they seem very athletic. They have very athletic builds. I don't know what the weight is going to be at. I think it's 160, maybe 168. So yeah. Actually, I want to speak more about OJ Rose because I actually wanted to see him fight Ashley Raxu, but I think they're kind of in two different weight classes. But they can definitely fight because if Ashley fought Kenny at 175 and OJ Rose, I believe he fought, what was the guy's name? It was Kimbo Slice Jr. If he fought him at like 160, then they can make that fight happen. I would love to see that over Ashley Raxu versus Halaham. We're gonna let Halaham slide this time. He's losing weight, on his journey, so he want to prove himself as he goes down in weight that he can be a more dangerous. I can't wait to see how dangerous he is, but we'll see. We'll see if he's more dangerous than his last fight against Ginty. We all know that was a sleeper. But moving on, we got some new guys in the scene. Simba, everyone talks about he's done a collab song with KSI back in the day. And this guy, Master Uguay, he's kind of popular from what I've been seeing on Twitter. And they say it's going to be very entertaining in the press conferences and in the build-up. And I saw a clip of him hitting the bag. He looks pretty decent. He looks like he's putting in the work. So that'll be a good fight. Haven't seen any of these guys box before. There's a lot of new names. So I give all these guys a chance. I won't just write them off. Next we have, I believe this is Anderson Silva's son. So that's big. I mean, that's a big fight. I mean, because there's always the question, is you as good as your dad? Are you going to fight as good as your dad? Are you going to carry his legacy, and train hard and, what I'm saying, keep the respect having that last name Silva. So it'd be great to see that versus this guy named Ben Davis. Kind of like Spider-Man from one of the older movies. But anyways, that'd be a good fight. Hopefully Hopefully we get some more knockdowns in his on his card. I would love to see that. I love to see the knockdowns. UFC, and then I think he can really be a big star in this, and he just have to make a statement with this fight with Ben Davis. So on to the next, we have Ashley Raksu and Halaham. I don't know what weights it's going to be at because Halaham, he's been going down. It's hard to tell where he's at now unless you keep up with his social medias. I should actually look it up. I couldn't find it, but I believe it's going to be probably 170, 175, maybe even lower if Ashley Raksu goes down. And if I were King Kenny, he actually looked kind of big, bro. He was built. He was swole. Had muscles. Had the pecs. Had the biceps. He was ready to go. And I think a lot of people on Twitter been not liking this fight. They think it's a mismatch or it doesn't make sense, or it's like you can only have so many cards in a year, so there has to be opportunities for a fighter like Ashley Raksu to just run through a fighter to prove that he can just do that. If he doesn't have that fight and he always taking hard fights, you won't see how dangerous he is. Really, that's gonna make him more attractive or build his level up until the fighters that he wants to fight. Because we all know after the fight with King Kenny, he kept chasing the Saul Poppy fight. But of course, you got to keep fighting, man. Like the way that you beat Kenny, you're not really a fighter. Well, I won't say a fighter. Well, he's not really a boxer. I feel like people are gonna want Saul Poppy to fight more of a boxer type fighter and not just a brawler who just swings and swings. And yeah, I just like to see him run through Halaham, bro. I know it sounds bad, but I just like to see him run through Halaham, crush Halaham dreams to the ground, just run him over, bro. I'm not saying knock him out, because I don't think he can do that, but it'll definitely surprise me if he does. I'd love to see Ashley Raksu maybe knock him down, get a stoppage or something like that on Halaham and just go on, beat up another person, and then start calling out the top names. You know, he's kind of rushing into it like, oh, beat King Kenny, like, where's my money at? Where's the money fights? But nah, just take your time with it. Run through these guys they're giving you. You know, it's not gonna hurt to slowly perfect your craft and your style, whatever you're developing your style into. You know, with these fights, staying active, fighting back to back on these cards. So I love to see him do that in that fight. I'm interested in that fight a little bit, even though most people probably won't watch it or see it as, oh, this fight don't make no sense. But I just know it's necessary to build Ashley Raksu's career. You know, Halaham, of course, I don't want to sound like a hater, but Halaham can Halaham can definitely grow his career off this fight too with the upset, because he's definitely not the favorite right now. Definitely not. On to the next fight. Now I'm kind of way more interested in this fight than any of these other fights, even more than the main event. Faze Temper versus Ginty. I think Ginty, I just watched their face to face. It was very interesting. I loved that. They did a face to face, and the way they were speaking into it and just speaking from where they are now and where they want to go and what they was thinking prior to the face to face and how they've been training and how they've been going about life and losses and stuff like that. I love to see this fight. As Ginty, he kind of explained in the face to face, like, oh, in my first fight with who was it, JMX, like, oh yeah, he hit me with power shots. I was still there. I got a good chin. The only reason I lost was because I wasn't conditioned enough. It's like, okay, so he's coming with a bit more confidence in this fight, you know. And I love to see how they match up against Faze Temper, who's coming off 2 knockout losses. You could kind of argue the same thing for him. Like, he can have excuses and say, oh, I fought my fights that I got knocked out in on a 2 weeks notice or a 1 week notice, so I didn't have time to prepare. And what I love most about Faze Temper mindset is I kind of confirmed this. This is a confirmation of my thoughts on my last video when I said, like, oh, despite his like middle, I still can't say it right. Despite his calm nature, he definitely has a fighting spirit deep down. And so Temper, coming off 2 KO losses, I don't think a lot of people will have the confidence coming back that he's showing in that interview he had over the face to face. I just can't wait to see how that translates to the ring. Basically, I want to see him demolish Ginty. I want to see him so strong and so sharp, like just show the levels. Like, you ain't on my level, boy. Because Ginty was talking trash. He was talking some good trash. Like, he's gonna knock him out and get a. Oh man, I just can't wait to see this fight. I'm actually interested. I just can't wait, because Temper It's gonna be the first influencer coming off from the KO losses, like I mentioned before in my last video. Like coming off that two devastating knockouts like that, he's took his time. I think the last time he fought was in January. What is it? September 6th now. It's been like a solid 6 months. Let's say he took a vacation, got engaged or have a kid. I think he did those things. There's so many boxers in our scene having kids and getting married. It's hard to remember who's doing what. But I remember, I'm pretty sure he got engaged. So he probably took a month off. So he definitely had let's say a solid 4 or 5 months to train. And just work on his craft with a professional boxing coach. What is his name? The one who trains Deontay Wilder. It's very easy. I want people to really understand this. It's very easy to fall, just to be discouraging yourself after a loss like that. And it just really, it just makes me so excited to see what Temper is made of, and what he'll do, what he'll do after this, man. It's like it can go up from here. He's been in rock bottom. How worse could you get, perception wise, on your boxing ability and your chin? And it just reminds me of Faze, and I think that's what gave Temper the mental tolerance and the confidence coming back into this fight, which I think will translate into the ring, which I'm interested to see that. But Faze in the fight with Deji, what had him so devastated and not want to fight again is not that. Well, we could definitely say because what actually happened in the fight and the surgery he had to do and how bad he was beaten up. But we can also say this: he put months and months and months of hard work, mentally and physically taxing his body, getting prepared for this fight. So he put all into it just to come up short. So it was very, very discouraging for him. He didn't want to feel that again. So I don't think he's ever want to fight again. So to have someone who's took KO losses, took a bad loss, got beaten up, got memed, got the replays on Twitter, getting millions of views online, and then him just coming back from there like, nah, I'm gonna show you people. Like, I love to see that, and I can't wait. So that's pretty much for all this card. I mean, Idris Virgo versus Aaron Chalmers. It's the thing about the pros in this scene. I'm gonna say my scene. In the boxing influencer scene, I don't really care about it, but I'm not gonna just shrug it off. It's cool to look at, but if I'm really honestly telling myself, do I want to watch professional boxing on Misfits? I wouldn't. I would just watch professional boxing. So that's the main event. They're saying that whoever wins is gonna go into the pro tournament that they're gonna have, which is, I never really heard from Misfits or anything like what actually is the tournament gonna take place, because it's going to take place after Misfits 0010, and then it's just going to be pro tournament events after that. It's kind of weird. Is it going to happen consecutively? Like, it's going to be on Misfits 0011, 012, 013, and then we just back to the normal influence? Like, how does that work? They kind of didn't explain it yet. I think they're going to explain it maybe after September 23rd. But yeah, that's pretty much for today. Love to talk about this card. I think it's a good card overall. Just people are not gonna tune in because, of course, it's not the pay-per-view card. So the majority of people in the influencer boxing is not gonna tune in. But I like to see Misfits doing this. It's really building big fights down the line with having these smaller events. I like the structure of it. Like, okay, you're gonna fight on a non-pay-per-view card, so one day you can fight on a pay-per-view card against another opponent who's built his name and his resume up as well. I think it's very, very smart, very beautiful thing. Even though it comes with a lot of pain, a lot of frustrations, a lot of pullouts, but at the end of the day, the fans are getting action. They're getting a show nearly every month, which is kind of crazy they're even able to pull that off. So I'm gonna enjoy the ride of Misfits. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. See you guys next time.